kick is up, and it's good.
You're listening to The Extra Point, hosted by Phil Ruskin. Welcome.
What's up? Welcome to another episode of The Extra Point. I am your host, as always, Phil Ruskin. Got my guys Kendall and Mike with me. Boys, we're going to get into some fantasy football in like 2 minutes. Yeah. But I missed you guys because, as you both know, the World Cup took a little bit of precedence over some of the slow parts of the fantasy football early preseason because there is no offseason around here. But I was out for a minute or two and traveling around and doing things, and I missed you guys. I'm stoked to have this show and be back with you boys. So everybody good?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm excited to break this thing down.
It was nice to go from like full hiatus to like Phil's back in the world.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We get to do an auction, and I get to literally go to the gas station to grab a case of beer because I'm going to be drafting for 4 hours. What a time!
Yeah,
what an event to come back to. Man.
It's a night. It's a vibe for sure. There's
yeah,
always fun to be had. Well, speaking of that draft, Mike, if you would be so kind in a minute here, we just finished the league that Kendall's referencing. We just finished a 10-team full PPR SuperFlex league with only one required starting running back, one required starting wide receiver, and the rest flex. And then the wrinkle in this league, because we like to run leagues with wrinkles, is the tight end position is not required. So that's the format for the league. We're going to start to break it down. IMP Ruskin, Kendall is Kendall FFT, and Classic Mike is Classic Mike on your screens. So if you want to follow along and watch the show, obviously if you're doing the video instead of doing just the audio, you can see what teams are actually referencing. Mike, I think you can click them too to bring them up.
Yeah,
on the full screen.
I'm going to bring them up when we
go.
We're
going to highlight 3 teams this week, and then next week we'll get into kind of a part 2 of the show with some of the best values and some stuff we really like. But tonight I think we want to talk a little bit about just kind of how we built our teams. So Mike, I want to start with you. Do you have a $300 budget on this one? Did you have sort of a dollar amount set aside for each of the position groups that you came in with, or were you leaving this draft saying, hey, listen, I've got this number of players in my pool of players and I was able to get X percentage of those players onto my roster? How'd you lean?
Not even going to lie. I went into this with no expectation. I kind of just had a idea of how much I needed to spend with the 300. I wanted to get in there and get a few guys that I was really high on, and I was kind of waiting for the market to set the prices and hoping that these guys had that were nominated prior to. So I kind of took a minute in this draft. We did a slow auction draft about a couple weeks ago prior to this, and I did a different type of draft in comparatively, and this one was fast, and I dabbled as we went, and there were a lot of times I kind of just passed on guys, but then there were guys that I wanted to put my money on, and they just seemed to be more in the middle of the draft where I was trying to gain more value and a little bit more youth comparatively to what I did in my other draft, where I kind of just spent most of my money all at once, and I was just like, I just can't do it,
Yeah.
It made it so much more difficult for me to do things throughout the whole rest of the draft. I kind of had to watch everybody else kind of enjoy themselves and bid on people. In this case, I was able to kind of go in. I don't even think I won a player until we were like 30 or 40 players in. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take my time. I'm going to wait. I'm going to, just try to do it a little bit more methodically. There were guys that I had my eye on, but that was the way that I kind of went about it. I took a very slow approach, even though it was a fast clock. I just did my best to kind of take a, step back and kind of breathe. So,
yeah, I think it's a good way to be. There seems to be in all drafts just kind of this like initial rush, and we all know that, right? And it's everyone's got money. It's inevitably the big guys are going to go early. They may not go first, second, third, but like a big boy is going to come on the board early, and you're going to get a chance to bid. And so I do find in the middle of the time, right? If you're going to be roughly, these drafts take about 4 hours. So maybe, like you said, that 30 to 40 minutes in, that's when you can start get some deals. Because if you lose out on Jamar Chase, you talked about that in the last draft. I think in the last draft we had a $250 budget. It was a best ball format, but I think if my memory's right, you spent 63 on Jamar Chase.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, it's like, like you said, like you had to sit and just kind of wait, and then ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, yes, you have Jamar Chase and your team's going to have a huge ceiling with your corollary pieces, but like, could you have, especially in a best ball format, more depth for that 63 broken down? So I don't know. It's interesting. I think that's what we're talking about tonight, guys, is just going through some theory crafting. And so Kendall, you and I have been friends for a long time, playing in a lot of these leagues together. It's how we became friends. It's how we started partially just doing this show, is just from being good traders and having good conversations around trading. I'm curious in your strategy, maybe a different question than Mike, because what I know of you is I'm a Tarantino. You guys know I love my Tarantinos. Kendall will always wind up with multiple first round picks early in the
We are there again, baby.
He's already there.
Exactly.
I've been busy, boys.
So that's my question, is it's like, does your strategy, but you listen, in order to get good players, or in order to get first round picks, you have to have good players. So it's like, you're an idiot if you just have all the first and you don't know what to do with them, and you're just the first guy, and then it doesn't ever materialize. But like Kendall, you know how to trade. You end up buying huge pieces, and by year 2, 3, you have these monster teams. Is that your strategy as part of how you want to build? Is even if it doesn't necessarily fit the roster, you're still looking for maybe the most big pieces you can acquire in order to just have the ability to either A, compete because you have a high ceiling, even if you don't have depth, or B, just be able to sell them for the most maximum value in the off season or in season? What's your roster? What's your ideal roster construction with that thought?
So, I mean, there's a couple principles I'm always going to double down on, right? That we're going to try to keep to. Same that an NFL team would have. There's just a couple things we want to try to keep to the program that I think are always going to allow me to build value and give me more options to create value. So I'm not like cornered into even a stale situation where I don't like writing it out, right? I want to be able to do something, right? So I want to go really, really youthful. So I'm always appreciating. So any team that has a high bleed rate going into year 2 or 3, right, I'm in good shape, right? I just don't want to pay a ridiculous premium for it, because otherwise, what's the point? Yep. You're forcing a lot of growth. So I want to be value centric and young, but you're saying, it was my strategy to get nice pieces so that I can trade. I would say I'm a market guy, right? I'm always talking about trying to compare it to like real financial markets, just a market for anything. It could be Pokemon cards for all it is, right? I want to stay a little bit ahead of the market. I want to see what's trendy, what I think is going to stay. Like they were hyper cars or something. And so one of the things I wanted to bring to this league was it's a one running back. I don't have to start a tight end. And I love that as just an experiment, kind of like a Scott Fishbowl, where it's like, all right, it's all of a sudden a niche unstudied format. What are you going to do? The simple theory was, I think the value in the trade market for an elite level, like S tier 0 level running back versus this massive middle tier is kind of night and day. And so because I only have to start one, part of the strat was just, I'm going to end up with Gibbs or Bijan. I don't really care what the price is, because I think that price is basically going to set the rest of the market anyway. So I know it's never value, but I know it's never bad. I know it's always going to be good. And then I can make the decision on whether I want to hold that piece for whatever reason, or if I want to use it as the monumental blockbuster to then acquire whatever I want to, assuming there's a buffet I really like. It's the piece that you can walk into any buffet you want to, and it's all yours if you want it. So that was position. I like the way you said
that. I like that. That was dope.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. That's what you do when you go with players. You go trade, right? You're looking at lineups, right? Yeah. You're not just targeting a player. You're saying who can afford to give something away. They're already flush at that spot. They went cheap in the draft, right? So they can flip it a little bit. But no, I said Gibbs was that guy for me, for sure. At wide receiver, I just wanted young and my guys. I figured this was going to be a sharp auction. I really did.
Yeah, it was.
And I was not walking into this thinking I think I'm going to be able to exercise a bunch of edge at various points. That can burn you when you think like it's going to be a cakewalk. And actually just like miss your chance to get decent guys at value. What I think at wide receiver, though, that I'll just mention is I didn't want anything from the like S tier at wide receiver. In these deep where you can start a lot of guys you like types of situations. I've just found, especially I was looking at Scott Fishbowl boards in all the startup drafts that we've done. One thing I kind of noticed is wide receiver just tends to be a really flat tier, even at the top right now, where no one can agree on Neighbors. No one can agree on CeeDee Lamb. Amon-Ra is either the most unsexy top elite wide receiver of all time. It's really tricky. I've found by owning... I've owned Amon-Ra in other markets, and me being the DiCaprio guy, where as soon as they think about turning 26 or 27, like we're already like we are not living together anymore. So I was looking to sell Amon-Ra, and I just was not getting nearly the price I expected for a top 5 at a valuable dynasty position. And so going into this, I just didn't want that top tier. I was going to go mid tier. My guys ended up doing that. And I could talk a bunch more later, but that's how I was doing running back and wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's you nailed a couple of things that at least stood out for me, right? Like I think being able to have the player that you can walk into any buffet and eat the whole thing. I liked that. That was dope. Or go feast from a buffet that I like. I like that as well. That's a roster pillage. Kendall the Pirates going plundering, boys, batten down the hatches.
Clip that. Shirts are coming.
But yeah, I think there's like to end on Amon-Ra, right? I think there's a piece of me that believes, and this is a little bit into my strategy as we transition in now. It's like to you, like Mike, I know you and I have had some healthy disagreements on quarterbacks versus ceiling versus safe and what we prefer. And it's funny because I'm very much into like, I would take the shots on the players that maybe aren't as safety, but their ceiling is super high. And I'm the inverse on the wide receivers.
Yeah.
I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's my safety wide receiver that like, if you look at I'm not saying he's in this tier, and he's not in the Jamar Chase tier, but even just the delta on that was $9.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's just this particular draft. I've seen the delta be a lot higher. I've seen it be in, double, in the high double digits of the teens, right? Like you can get a $20 savings. I think in a league, that best ball league we're in, I think I'll have to go back and look, but I think there was something like that. I think Amon-Ra went like 15 or 18.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you got him much cheaper than expected. I remember.
So it's like, so like there's, I mean, like we said all the time, right? Like the league sets the market. So there's variance, and that's why it's hard to do like a calculator or do some sort of like a, average draft paying price, like, cause there's no ADP obviously here. Anyway, because it's a unique format, I missed out on Hampton, which, Kendall, I loved what you said of like, I'm getting Gibbs or Bijan. Obviously, you can reset the market, but then you never have to worry about the position again because they're both on rookies and they're going to get second contracts and still be top 5 guys on their second contracts.
Yeah, I figured I would then pick one more running back the rest of the entire draft that I like, and I'm just going to wait on it forever.
And so that's what I was. So that's perfect because I was just saying to Mike, I think before you hopped on in the green room, like, I got caught up doing something. I don't know what I was doing. I got distracted. And I would have kept pushing Mike on Hampton to be my anchor. That's where I wanted to go. And I honestly would have gone to 50, even though I at that point I already had Amon-Ra. So it would have been a little bit against my strategy, which I'll get to in a second. But it would have been like 2 higher priced, higher value players early that takes a big chunk. And then I have to wait and pause because I can't buy another guy because then I'm basically done. So then you start to miss out on some of those values.
Agreed.
So like the Hampton piece for me was like, all right, I got James Cook. I think he's the last real running back that I would feel comfortable with not having to do anything with it for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so then it was like, okay, cool. I've saved a bit on Amon-Ra. I've saved a bit on Cook. I was able to get Chase Brown because I set the market and I was able to get a cheaper version of every other quarterback that went well before in Dak. So then my strategy at that point was to just get the players. To get players that I would feel like would start and say, fuck the bench, fuck the depth, because this isn't best ball. Like you're just starting your best guys anyway. So it's like, I'll figure it out later. And I was able to get really good deals on Devonta Smith and Ladd McConkey and Jordan Tyson. And so JMO, like, so there was, Mike, to the question I opened the show with, right? Asking you, like, do you go for a pile of players and just say, hey, well, I've got 30, 40 guys and I want to get 10, 12, 18% of it? Or do you have your budget? I am of the former. I have a big, huge rankings that I use, and I have kind of my own little draft, whatever, kit, if you want it, for this draft.
Yeah.
And that's how I come out of it. So I don't love some of the players in my team. And as I look at it as a dynasty format, like I'm definitely more in a win now mode than I would want to be, which sucks because we know the 27 class is loaded. So I'm going to sit for a bit, but my 27 first could be going on the block if I'm in it and I feel like I have a shot at it. And it's not the way I want to build, but like, hey, sometimes that's how you come out. You just don't know what you're going to get when you come out of a draft. So as you start to let the excitement of the draft settle, and then you start to look at it a little more objectively and be like, okay, where did I make some errors? Well, okay, wow, I really am proud of myself for this. And he was on my board. You start to kind of think about, because you're going to do more of these.
Yeah.
So ultimately what I'm trying to do is, test some different formats to see. I like the way that I draft it, and I want to see like what's the highest value starting combination that I can create for the vast majority of my budget, to see if you can really build some quality teams if you're able to get some of the deals and keep improving. So, but I do want to talk about some stuff with you guys because I think it's also interesting. How do you feel about a team like Dime Sniffer where it's Joe Burrow, Bijan, and Jamar Chase? Like that can win you a week, and that can win you a lot of weeks, just the three of them. So if you could objectively look at your team and say, would I rather have the group that I have, or I'll say this, make your own build. It doesn't have to be just his particular build in this league, but like if you could have like a big three, would you rather have that? What would make you feel more confident, Mike?
I mean, ultimately, yeah. I mean, that combo right there is scary. Thinking about it, having to need to go against that in the coming weeks, like that's going to be a scary team to face on any given week. But I'm looking at like my team, and I'm looking about what I can have out there, and having a guy like Herbert with Hampton and Collins or Olave or whoever, and then have a whole group like that. I think that's pretty scary in its own right too. But and I didn't have to pay as much for it. I was really happy that I was able to budget my team to get the players that I still liked, to try to get a lot of value out of those players instead of paying up for that type of build and not having as much depth behind it. So yeah, Dime Sniffer, the whole, front of that team is going to be scary, but there's going to be a point in the season where he might have a rough time, trying to fill certain spots, just because, we know the inevitability of every season has some type of, wrench in the work. And it's just, you want to be prepared for all of that. You always want to have high quality players at all positions at all times. So, I'd rather in Dynasty have good depth so that I can always fill that particular spot with something. So I've always felt like spending it accordingly in that manner comparatively to just blowing your load on, just a bunch of guys. It doesn't work as well. So, I'd rather be mediocre, stay even throughout, and then have really big spike weeks where I'm able to get in, near the end. Your mic is cut there, my friend.
What a very CJ Stroud middle of the road safety answer, Mike.
Well, that's how I am, man. I want all my teams to be very middle of the road. I think people that do this, like people that are aiming for the boom bust weeks all the time, make it where I'll even make a perfect example. The biggest thing that I've noticed is guys like I've had the conversation about who's better, Herbert or Jalen Hurts. Everyone will tell me Jalen Hurts just because of the rushing ability, blah, 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 blah. Last few years, he's been, scoring over 300, all these things. And then you look at Herbert for the last 3 years, hasn't really been doing anything. He did most of his stuff in his, first 2 years, and he's kind of fell, and then he's been building himself up. There are two different points in their particular situations, but they're both evening out now, where we saw Jalen Hurts be at the top and get his ceiling, but now he's kind of evening out. I want my guys to have their ceiling but stay level at all times. Like, I like guys that are just even, because the guys that go like this, you never know what's going to happen every week. I rather be very steady, and I have a better chance at making the bubble, or making that that last spot in to then be able to have a good, consistent team through the playoffs that's healthy and can face those top heavy playoff teams that might have something happen near the end. So that's just how I operate in everything. I do it in redraft, I do it dynasty, I do it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's again, that's why we're doing it. It's all about tonight's show's all about theory crafting. Yeah, but safe. But again, it's like you said, like there's certain seasons where, like I've had a lot of 1 quarterback leagues that I have Joe Burrow. He's missed a lot of time over the last couple of years. Now it's different. I'm not all in, but like in that sense, I'm all in on that player at that position. So I am, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to replace that. So it's like, Joe Burrow can win you a championship easily. He can also cost you your season. So Kendall, what do you want for Jahmyr Gibbs?
Man,
no, but for real, like, so what do you think? This is the real question is like, can you even trade for Bijan and Gibbs anymore? I'm not trading them. I have them I have them, both of them all over. There's no fucking way.
I had to sell them and we did.
I traded Gibbs 2 years ago. So not this past season, but the season before. So coming into this last season, I traded away Gibbs for 2 additional first-round picks and Omari and Hampton.
Oh, wow.
And last season was the season that Omari and Hampton went out. Sorry, I traded Gibbs for 3 first-round picks, one of which was the 104. I drafted Omari and Hampton. Sorry, I didn't say
whatever.
That.
Still,
that's what the pick
but
became.
still,
Yeah. So it was like the dude was like,
Hampton at the 104. What a great pick, man.
So I got that pick, and then I still have 2 firsts. So it's like, okay, but as of right now, we have a player. I'll just use Omari and Hampton because that's who I drafted. We think, and the trajectory is there for him to hit. No, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about in my example. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's just making me grumpy. We're going to do that I'm saving that for next week's show when we get into the theory crafting behind the dollars and the percentages spent. So yes, I don't want to talk about like good values and bad values. That's next week's show. Yeah, Martin Ham. Your running back room irritates me because it's so fucking good. And it's like, oh wow, all those players were literally all my players in my pool. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week. Yeah, like Kendall, to come back on it, like, so Gibbs for 3 first was the going rate 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Now he's basically in his, I'll call it contract year, even though he's got the 5th option. Like they'll pay him before the 5th option, right? So it's like he's going into his second contract as the number 1/1B running back in the NFL. What the fuck is his price if I got 3 firsts 2 years ago? That's what I'm saying. Like, is he just untradeable?
In some circumstances, yes. Like, I liked that I drafted him because it unlocked some opportunities where if I'm able to do my like acquire some firsts for like not crazy value, but just decent, but then just windmill smash the pick or massage it into another deal that ends up quite favorable for me, doing a couple flippity flops here and there, right? Doing that thing. It unlocks this like on most of your teams, you have to then go and say like, all right, now I have enough assets. I can go throw them in a ball and probably plus 10% tax and go get a Gibbs, right? When you just have them, you don't have to do all that legwork, right? So the ability to unlock that super high-end outcome is there, and it's nice. And it avoids you just having to go out and do any acquisitions, right? Where I wouldn't say he's like untradeable is like I liked my draft, but I didn't completely love it. It wasn't as value-centric like right away as I would have liked, right? Its value is unlocked because I think my median age is legitimately 23.3, I think, which that feels fantastic. What that means is my value is like over a long period of time and it's not realized in a short time span, right? So I went shopping. I think I sent most people in the league an offer for Gibbs. I don't think, Mike, I don't think I sent you. I don't think
I didn't get one.
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
No. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
What was the offer here? I want to talk about it.
Here's the thing. It's because we're too good of friends, right? Because here's the thing. If I send you an offer for Gibbs, here's what that's this is me saying it, right? You ever see the Key and Peele, like what someone's really saying? Here's what I would really be saying. All right. Phil, right? I would love for you to have just like a straight up, not even 5, but like a 10% worse chance against me in the league. Like not a little bit, but like I am only selling this guy because I need to go for not just a little bit of value. Moving Gibbs right? If you're trading the asset, you got to figure just like the tax for making that happen is just too high. You need to go for such value. If you're going to do it, you got to like go for it, right? My ask would have to be too high for you to say yes, right? Because the idea is if you say yes, it means I fucked up. And I don't want that to happen when I'm the one coming to the table. So I have to give you a deal where your answer is absolutely not. But I'll think about a counter. That's the only fair trade I can do for Gibbs. That has to be the response, right? So I legitimately sent out I hope they don't hate me for what I'm asking, right? And there was just a couple combinations where specifically it had to be a combination of players and assets that it had to be two categories. One, it has to have the ability to hit a very high ceiling, not just a high ceiling, but a very high ceiling. It's 10 team. I wanted assets that each and individually could be high end. And they needed to be assets that I am probably at least 5 to 10% above the market on. Like consistently, I'm above them in the rankings, right? So just me buying it, I think at face value is already pretty good for me, and they could shoot for the moon. And it was specifically the deal that I found on the table where I remembered it from the draft, right? Tet going for was it 32? Let me check the board.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 32.
Yeah, 32.
I remember in my head just thinking like he was one of my big targets. I was ready to spend 40 on him, no problem, and just lock in a guy that I think is like younger Drake London with honestly slightly better target consistency because there's not a Bijan on the team. I just like him as like high end, not JSN every year, but like can have Mike Evans-esque outcomes. I think he's that naturally talented. And I think his worst finish is like Drake London with a bad quarterback. And I like locking that in at 23.3 years old, actually. I think he is exactly, right? So that was a guy I think I'm buying where I'm already higher in the market on, right? And I really like that for my build. And then a guy like Marv is a guy that I think Ladd's a guy that his value dipped quite a bit mid and then late last season, right? It just wasn't coming together. And, a lot of that was blamed on the Chargers. And now Ladd's upswing. What is he worth almost an entire extra first than he used to be, right? Like, you can't really acquire Ladd for a first and a second anymore. Most owners are saying, like, yeah, maybe that's face value, but why? I feel so good having him. Where he was so significantly more gettable, 6 months ago, realistically. I think Marv can have the same thing where the offense is just a shit ton better with a guy like Jeremiah Love, and any coaching could do something better. And I just think Marv can play a lot better. And if all of a sudden Marv levels up from a first and a third to like a first and 2 seconds type of really becomes the one again, now I'm starting to enjoy maybe selling Gibbs. And the fact that it's 10 team and I can get a 27 first, where I've already looked at getting in first, where if that first is slightly above average at like a 5 for his build, having the 105 in SuperFlex in 2027 on top of 2 assets that I think are worth more than a first, I'm starting to get to a level where I'm like, if that draft pick's worth 2 firsts, and I think Tet's worth 2 firsts, I'm basically getting 5 firsts of, in my view, value for Gibbs. And I think 5 firsts for any player when I don't 100% think my team's going to win now is probably just something I should do. So that's ultimately how I pulled the trigger.
Yeah, so Marv for 13 was interesting. Like it's a pretty depressed value. I mean, you've got Jamison Williams at 14. You've got Jalen Waddle at 13. You've got Michael Wilson at 11. That's in the same range. Alec Pierce at 10. That's in that tier. DJ Moore. So, like, is that just where Marv is right now?
I guess.
Like Jalen Waddle and DJ Moore and Michael Wilson.
It's hard to get super excited about a guy when everyone is drafting Trey McBride like right next to Brock Bowers. And when you look at the team, who's the team's identity? It's Trey McBride and Jeremiah Love. And he starts to be the third guy in conversations. That's going to keep a price depressed, right?
Yeah, he hasn't proven to be an alpha for sure. You're right. Like he's not the first. I mean, he's the first read wide receiver, but that's because to be fair, I think Michael Wilson was a better receiver, much better receiver the second half of the season. He won me a championship in one of my leagues.
Yeah.
Over the second half, Michael Wilson was easily the player I'd rather have in redraft. So, you know what I was thinking about, guys? I was looking at this board here. I'm curious. I want to talk about this. I had a strategy that in my master rankings, at some point, though, tight end position, because you're not required to start one in this league.
Correct.
So you're basically adding 2 to 3 tiers worth of wide receivers into the player pool. And so that's where I was starting to look for value. Like Trey McBride at 31. Guys, help me out on the board. Call some stuff out. Egbuka 32.
Yep.
Chris Olave 27. Burden 25 is too low.
Chris Olave is 27.
I got that one. Yeah, that's okay. Like Neighbors 45.
Pickens 27. Ted at 32.
Okay.
Lad at 26.
All right. So you ready? I'll give you a couple names. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
McBride or Egbuka?
For me, Egbuka.
Egbuka.
McBride or Rome?
That's in this format. It's Rome. When it's just pure player against player, and it's not tight end premium, it's Rome for me.
Yeah, same.
Rome or Egbuka?
Egbuka.
I actually have Rome higher, but I like that Egbuka's a year younger.
All right. McBride or Olave?
Olave.
Yeah, Olave.
Okay. And you would have Pickens higher than Olave, Egbuka, and Rome, yes?
No, I'm a little bit lower on Pickens. Similar tier, I have him slightly lower, but I belong in the tier.
I'd have him below.
So rank the four: Odunze, Egbuka, Olave, Pickens. Kendall, you go first when you're ready. Odunze, Egbuka, Olave, Pickens. Lad McConkey.
It's exactly in that order, except I would put Lad right behind Egbuka.
So you would have it Rome, Egbuka, Lad, Olave, Pickens?
Yes.
So Pickens is the lowest for you. Okay.
Yeah. The 10-second take on him is just I think he leaves at some point, and he has tumultuous personality with there's NFL owners and teams I don't trust with Pickens' future. And there's enough of those teams that.
So it's a contract thing for you.
Yeah.
If you knew he was a Cowboy, would he be the top of the list if he had a 3-year deal?
Right behind Egbuka.
Okay, so you'd have him at 2.
I'm really, really high on Egbuka.
You are very high on Egbuka. Yeah, you are.
Likewise.
Purely when Matt Harmon says, guys, I watch wide receivers for a living, and the role changed to a Z, and Baker was injured all last year, which heavily affects your number one target and catchability. I think that's, and with a running back room, then I think it's going to be a strange RBBC.
I agreed.
Yeah, I'm like, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm in because I have shares of Egbuka fucking everywhere in Dynasty. So like. Yeah, I don't even care if you have him in this league. I hope he goes off because it's better for my portfolio. I'm going to go real quick, Mike, because I had it in my head here and I want to get it out real quick. I have it Egbuka, Pickens, McConkey, Rome, Olave. So similar to you, Kendall, but I'm higher on Pickens and McConkey over Olave and Rome. Mm-hmm. So I think Egbuka to me is really interesting, but that's why I said so. Okay, so we both have Egbuka at the top. Mike, I'm going to let you go.
I'd probably
and then get to my next question.
I really like Egbuka. It's one of those things where I want to put him one, but I love what Rome has to offer. And with him paired with Caleb for the next few years is just hard not to like. Baker's great and is there, probably about the same amount of time as Caleb, but I just now with DJ out, which to be fair, even with DJ in, he was really doing well. I think I'm going to be going with Rome and Buka. I think I'm going to go Lad after that. I just love what he can do with Justin Herbert. Then Chris Olave right after that with Pickens just behind. And it's the same stuff Kendall's mentioning. It has really little to do with his talent. He's a very talented receiver, good, contested catch guy. That's my only knock on him is his ability to be contested catch, because he's really a 9 route, get me the ball, and he can come down with it. He's spectacular hands. He's just not a possession guy. He's more of a deep threat, in my opinion. Yeah, he'll get that type of volume with Dak. If he was there for the next 3 years, I would probably put him at 2 or 3 move him up because he's just in a better situation, because that offense is built that way. They have a better line. They have a better quarterback with Dak. So yeah, that's probably where I would have it, is Rome, Egbuka, Lad, Olave, and Pickens.
So you're saying that Pickens is the highest risk, but the biggest boom bust, and he's not very safe.
I don't have him anywhere, to be fair.
I don't either.
So
I don't either.
I can't afford. I love the ability of him, but like Kendall said, he's volatile. He has a very, his personality on top of all that. A lot of that kind of rolls into like my price on him. But at the end of the day, is he like somebody that could I have him higher? Probably. I just don't. I'm just not there. And you're not. It's harder to sell him than it is to sell any of these other guys to me.
I mean, in this format, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because like at that point, it's like, all right, you're basically what you guys all just said. What we all just said was Trey McBride in that similar price tier is the least valuable player in this format. Like if this was tight end premium, it's different. So
yeah, if this is
I think that's where
Fishbowl.
you have to look at. So like that's where I was looking at players that are like, all right, who's better here? This like unknown wide receiver or someone that I've seen for years that I can't stand anymore, or a tight end. All right, so Bowers 44, McBride. Okay, so does anybody think that you would take Colston Loveland over the receivers?
He's the
This is the question I was curious to see what you guys thought.
He's the only guy that I would maybe think about, but it's only because of his age and the fact that he will have more years to prove it, and he's on a team. The only thing is, he's the number 2 receiver on that team. I don't even consider him a tight end. You're getting a wide receiver.
Colston Loveland is the number 2 receiver on the Bears?
I think he could be. I know Burton's there. Just saying.
I don't know.
I think he could take that.
I mean, maybe. I think everything presumes health. I don't know that.
Well, I think
Sam Laporta's season was Amon-Ra Brown was out that for half that year, and Sam Laporta had 12 touchdowns.
I get all that. I'm thinking in the realm of the way that I see Burton is more of he's Pickens to me. 9 route, can get the ball deep. I don't see him as a possession guy. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's a good route runner. But at the end of the day, I think Loveland is more going to live in the zones that Caleb can hit and be accurate with. Like, I get he can throw it downfield. He has good arm strength. He slings that ball sometimes a little too hard. But at the end of the day, I think Loveland is in his sweet spot where he will be in those short intermediate routes to bail him out a lot. And he is a scrambler. He's the one that just likes to get, and I think Loveland can fit that mold. So I think ultimately, Loveland can have a really good career with Caleb. So I don't hate Loveland at all. I have a keeper question that I'm going to ask you guys when we're off air, but he's a good option.
You can ask it. Ask away, dude. This is a safe place. Think of this as the trust tree.
It's fun hearing other people's Bears takes. I go on any show, anytime we record, right? Normally, like, I get asked the Bears questions. I don't get to sit back and hear the opposite takes nearly enough. So this is phenomenal, by the way.
Would you rather have Ladd McConkey or Colston Loveland?
Loveland for me.
In this format.
I mean, I want
in this format
to get my stack, but I think it's Loveland.
All right. Would you rather have Loveland or Chris Olave?
Chris Olave.
It's Loveland for me.
Would you rather have Loveland or Pickens?
Easy Loveland.
Loveland.
Wow. Okay. Would you rather have? Now we're into Love. Who'd I forget? All right. So Loveland or Rome? Because you had Egbuka higher than Rome.
Yeah, this is probably hot take, but it is Loveland.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So this man just played King of the Court, and he has reached the final. Damn. Kendall, I think you have to let him win. Just that. No, I'm kidding. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Loveland or Egbuka? No, that's the question, because Egbuka was the top of that tier we just did 10 minutes on. Loveland or Egbuka?
This is in this format, Egbuka.
Thank you. I was about to say, if you say Loveland, you're crazy, brother. I love you, but you're crazy.
That would be crazy.
I'm hot enough on him that I do have to like pause and like check my whole cards just to make sure, but it's still Egbuka.
Okay. So basically of that entire wide receiver, 5 of them, your number 2 is Loveland. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So
put
then
it
we'll
this
see
way.
where
I don't
that's
think
their
a
tier.
Travis Kelce skill set would do nearly as well with Caleb Williams, but I think he has much more of a Rob Gronkowski skill set where he can be extremely physical and big. And when you have a scrambly quarterback that sometimes has accuracy and confidence issues, he kind of just becomes the solution. And again,
Agreed.
that's also why I like Rome. He matches up well with Caleb, and that playbook needs those
And they
as
have good
proper
relationship.
reads for Caleb, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. But in a team that I expect to still have a competent rushing offense, I think there's going to be a lot of red zone stuff. I think you get all the touchdown upside of like a Sam Laporta, plus all the yardage of like a Harold Fannin and that kind of stuff. And I don't think you're going to get the same yards after carry as like a Tucker Kraft, but I think he's got all the things that you get. He won't have the target volume of a Trey McBride, but he'll just be on a significantly better offense and have much smoother curves on his great games. So he lives and dies on Caleb and the offense overall definitely being top 10, right? That's what it comes down to. So it's a major bet on Chicago. That's the scariest part is actually the offensive ecosystem. I think the player, if you take a blind bet that, hey, if Chicago's good, in those outcomes and those heads versus tails, I think we can blind bet and just win 60% of the time. I think that's when you should be really in on a Colston Loveland. There's 0% chance he fails, where Rome can still struggle a little bit. You cannot.
And we saw that last year.
You can't X and O out a Colston Loveland and a Caleb Williams. You just can't do it.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm in on the Colston Loveland hype train. I mean, it's not really a hype train. It's I mean, it is, but it is. I think Amar and Hampton, Colston Loveland, in my mind, are easily the two hottest like breakout candidates for this season. But there's a lot of optimism around a lot of other guys. I mean, Tet's coming off a big year. People are hot and bothered by Luther Burden. You know, Joe Burrow says he's finally healthy. People are back in on T. Higgins. His price seems to be rising a little bit in ADP right now. So people are, I mean, I know he's got his own injury history, but like,
you wonder, like a healthy Burrow, either Burrow's like a top 2 QB or somebody's disappointing in Cincinnati, right? Like one of the two has to be true.
Say that again. Either Burrow's a top 2 QB or what was the second bit?
Or someone's getting hurt.
Jamar Chase going where he goes, T. Higgins going where he goes.
I'm
Brown being the sure thing that he is.
I'm saying they're
across all three of
hurt.
those. Burrow has to be a top 3 quarterback. And if he's not, one of those guys disappoints.
Yeah, one of those
Guaranteed.
guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what I meant. I
basically saying if Burrow loses a weapon, then that's
Yeah, because then you're going with either Jake Browning or you're going to be calling back Joe Flacco to try.
No, he's not saying if Joe Burrow's not there. He's saying if the other pieces around Joe Burrow that you drafted their ADP.
I mean, both are
hit.
true.
Yeah.
Both are true. Honestly, here's my simple take is, I mean, I love Joe Burrow. I just will never trust T. Higgins to stay healthy. I just don't think he takes care of himself. He doesn't recover from injuries well. He has a high re-injury rate.
Yeah.
I just think I don't think he eats kale for dinner. All right, let me just be real with you. All right,
does he have the Metcalf diet of just Skittles and candy?
Dude, think about it. If you blind bet that he plays 12 to 13 games this year, you can just flip a coin and be like, yeah, Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, they're going to be nice. I like blind betting that as long as T. Higgins has some form of an issue, those guys are going to absolutely windmill smash. So that's, I think that's worth considering.
The current betting line is 14.5 to 15.5 on his regular season availability or regular season games.
Wow.
So where
does that rank? Where does that rank
I don't know.
Amongst like bets? That's what I would be very curious.
But they're basically saying he's going to miss 3 games, which would be the T. Higgins experience plus some extras. I don't know. This was an interesting draft. Like there's a lot of pieces. Like, I mean, I had another exercise, but it was basically a carbon copy of what we just did, with just a different tier of players. So I want to switch gears. Let's talk about quarterbacks. Since we were talking about Joey B.
Quarterback.
Do we think? Yeah, I am, but I mean, I'll figure it out. That's why that's the other reason behind my strategy. It's like if I need to sell off a piece to get something that turns into a piece and a half, then it's not a bad place to be in, because I don't know. We'll figure out what this team looks like. But JD5, where are we at? Because I think this is an important season for him. I do.
I do too.
I'm rooting for him. I want that to be said very loud and clear. And I actually don't have that many shares of him. I think I might have 2 shares of him across my whole portfolio.
I don't have any.
Yeah, so it's like this isn't like, oh my God, I'm so in on this guy. He has to succeed or I lose. Like, I just want the kid to succeed. But let's be realistic. Where do you think he's at? What's your feeling around the Commanders' offense? Like, where are we at with JD5?
All right. So my portfolio strategy with JD5 is he's not a target. He's not a guy that I look at and say, I'm smarter than everybody. I can look at everything and see there's an edge in buying him because long term he was a great passing prospect and the rushing was just a bonus and he was just a lot more effective and better at the NFL level. That's what he was when he was great, right? So if you want to take a long bet on him and just say the market's always going to rise, he's always going to be like Lamar Jackson on a worse team, and on a better team, he's Lamar Jackson every single time, and a better natural passer, than Jalen Hurts. And you just look at it and say, like, anytime his team does well, he's Drake May. That's the play. If you're in on him, that's the take. That is the take. That's the only take. My take against it is the team just doesn't seem to be drafting super well. They just don't seem set up with a bunch of weapons. They paid Terry McLaurin. That's finally maybe not stinging. It's just, I don't think it's going to be an amazing year. They're probably not going to win that many games, which is great because, maybe they get a better draft pick and they get a weapon next year. But that draft also has to hit. I just see a lot of things. It's so much easier for me to say, hey, I can see that this player's in a good team with coaches that I like, with a front office that's stable. And it's just not there for me. It's in a category of team where, honestly, there are some teams where it's like, I might categorically not invest heavily in any player on this team because it's too volatile, right? The reason we can say Pickens is a redraft target 10 out of 10 for me, but I'm always going to be leery in Dynasty. And I think there's better hands to play at the table that I'm sitting down at, right? That's just kind of how I'm playing it with Jaden Daniels. I want to fade him. But I think he's going to be long-term good like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's had a lot of ups and downs with injury and bad seasons and bad teams. He's still going where he's going on boards, and I think that's probably going to be the Jaden Daniel effect. But I think much like a Lamar owners, when you pay for what you pay for him, you either win a title or you're frustrated. And that's a thin window. So you keep that in mind. But he's as young as he is, right? So
King of the Hill, you ready? King of the Hill?
Sure.
All right.
Jaden Daniels is our contestant. Jaden Daniels. Damn.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels or Justin Herbert?
Herbert.
Okay. Jaden Daniels or Drake May?
Drake May.
Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson?
I'm going to go Jaden Daniels.
Redraft Lamar Dynasty Jaden Daniels. That's where
Okay.
I just the age and for me overall. And
I'm going to take Jaden either way.
Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow for me.
Okay. Daniels or Williams?
Caleb, baby.
Okay. All right. So
You're going to have to move to Dart.
no. Yes.
Okay, then go Hurt. No, then go Hurt.
Fuck.
No,
Where's
go
Hurts?
Hurt. Go Hurt.
No. Dart, Jaden Daniels or Jackson Dart?
I'm going Dart.
I got to go Daniels there by a hair, but it's close.
I'm going Dart.
I would consider them in a similar. If they're in a tier, I think Jaden's at the top of that tier, and Homeboy Dart's probably in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniels and Hurts. Sorry, Daniels and Purdy.
It's Daniels.
Kendall?
It's Daniels, but it's razor close there, dude.
Yeah.
That Purdy is such a safe bet, man. He's so good.
He's more my speed than Daniels, but I think Daniels has higher upside and is better.
I sleep
overall.
a lot better with Purdy.
Yeah, I would sleep better with Purdy.
Daniels or Lawrence?
Give me, dude. Honestly, at this point, give me Trevor.
Give me.
I'm in on Trevor.
I
was a
Trevor
little bit
too.
upset that I bought Dart because I wanted to save it for Trevor, and the fact that he went for less just broke me in half.
So Daniels is mispriced in this league.
Yeah.
If we are right, because
What is he, top 3 or 4?
I was 41 on him tops.
Yeah, because he is clearly you guys both had him ahead of some guys that were well lower in the bidding, and then you also had some dissension, and then he was clearly behind all of the top guys that were paid more for. So it's like you look at that delta between Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy, both at 37, Jackson Dart at 41. That's a $4 delta to then get to 53. He probably should have been in like the mid 40s, low 40s.
Yeah, when
I mean,
realistically.
to be fair, he locked in Drake May really early at 51.
did.
Yeah, he did.
It is
He did.
pricey, but it is value.
Yeah.
So I think he knew going in, like, when you buy Drake May and then you buy Jaden Daniels, you clearly have a particular strategy where he's gonna
Well, they came out at
knowing he'll be thin at several.
and they came out at different times, and he picked up McBride and Lamb before he even got Daniels. So
I'm sharing a new strategy. Ready? I'm workshopping it. I think I want to start looking at the draft with the component of the time elapsed next to my budget. Because I think as you get past a certain point in the draft, when the time starts to settle and sink in a little bit, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you can just get those better deals because like some guys go out and they really set a bar too high and they're like, okay, this is clearly the top of the market. Do I want to be in this for someone that's in this tier? Or do I want to try to get a tier down? And there's a mixture of both, right? There's some good deals, but I think what I want to try to look at is within the first hour, I want to get 2 1s and solidify it within a frame of getting a good deal. So like not the top of the market, but you know how kind of like that 35, 45 minute mark, you can usually catch somebody and be like, okay, shit, I can get some, you know, there's 4 wide receivers off the board, maybe 5 off the board. Okay, I can get the wide receiver 6 here, but I can save $11. You know what I mean? But it's still somebody that like you said, Kendall, like you could sleep at night. So like getting an alpha, basically. I want to get an alpha at each position, 1 running back, 1 receiver, and then just seeing what values pop up after that based off the time, though. Okay, now I've got budget left. We're about halfway through the draft. There's probably not a lot of players, premium players that are left. And the tier 2 guys are like, what's really up, but who can make the jump? And then start grabbing a ton, like kind of like what I did in this draft, just like trying to grab as many of my player pool as I can. So I don't know. I'm going to see how that works because I feel like when I look at this board, it's hard to remember like who, I don't know who said it. Oh, Kendall, good point. Drake May, he locked him in early at 51. That's what made me think of this. That's like what spun this whole thought was like, oh, he got him early, but not too early. And, you know, obviously what did $15 off of Josh Allen, right? So it's like.
And wasn't he was one of those players that I think he went like near the end of the first round that was nominated. I think he was one of the first QBs or one of the first QBs.
I thought he was the second player in the entire draft.
Something like that. Yeah. Like he was really early. I mean, what you did Monungai at $7 to start, and then what was
no
that was
how,
later
you
on.
You didn't deserve to get him. That comment right there tells me you didn't even deserve. It was Wandale, bro. It was your guy.
It was Wandale, that's what it was.
Yeah.
If you can't remember,
I forgot about him.
You didn't really want him. Yeah, you didn't really want him on your team if you can't even remember his name.
I didn't get him on my team.
I know, and you're grumpy about it because $7 for Wandale was.
I wasn't grumpy, but it was.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I mean, Jaden Daniels was actually the 4th player drafted. We're kind of saying he was mispriced. Yeah, he was legitimately the 4th player drafted. So Whiskey, literally, he won the 2nd bid overall, and then he immediately won the 4th bid overall. Then he won the 6th overall with McBride too.
And then he had CD at 45.
Yeah, so he had 3 in the top 6, so he's 50% of overall exposure.
Okay. All right, so those are big prices, but those are all right. It's good returns.
I mean, he settles in after a while. There's like plenty of picks afterwards. I think he wasn't planning on winning McBride. It just kind of happened, and that was the first value of the draft. That like as it sank in later and later and later, everyone was like, no, actually, it's probably just fine. Actually, it might be like a 2% overpay if anything. You know, it's just kind of how it ended up happening. Fascinating.
All right. I got one for you because I was looking at his roster because I was like, all right, well, he spent a lot up top. What's the bottom half look like? And it's what you would think. It's ugly, but it's really ugly. Where are we at with Matthew Golden? Because I had this conversation with Evan earlier. Well, hold on, man. Damn. This guy.
I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, so you're out. Kendall, do you have any interest in Matthew Golden? Because I know we just traded for him.
Oh yeah, no, I like Matthew.
Where do you think he's gonna be at this season? Do you think he can make? I mean, do you think he can make elite? Is he in the mix? Is it a repeat of last year?
I mean, I think he's risky in that if he doesn't produce, I'm not going to say it's it, but it's pretty much it for him. Like, this is his opportunity, right? I would be disappointed if he had like a Jaden Higgins season, right? Like, I am expecting more. I think he has some outs where like Jamison Williams had some disappointing outcomes from here and there. We saw it on the field, but it was a little disappointing. And then it really kind of clicked, right? I do think the year 2 breakout was really popular, but I do think a popular and correct take is these players come out younger and younger. I don't really love the coaching carousel in college. I think they're honestly getting elite coaching earlier in life and then kind of worse in college. And so they come a little bit less just like ready to go athletically, better than ever, mentally not all the way there and still has to learn some things, right? So I think it's more common that we're going to see a few pockets of like year 3 breakouts than we used to. But with that being said, he's going to be on the field in 2 wide receiver sets over Jaden Reed. I think that's important. I think Josh Jacobs has some trouble this season. He could miss some games. He might not. Even if he doesn't, there's a lot of miles on the tread. And I think they're in for some passing regression. So we're also Christian Watson. I mean, what's his Vegas odds? I know you pulled him up for that. I mean, what's that market like, right?
I'm curious. Yeah.
And we traded for him in a couple of leagues, right, Phil? I mean, how many leagues are we in? I mean, we're in plenty, but we I think we just draft for value, and we like flipping good players from time to time. But one
no shit.
What's the market? What's the number?
13? It does not currently have a widely posted regular season games played over underline in major sports books. There isn't one.
That's bad.
That is
wait, no, that can't be right. I have to hold on.
That is
wild. Let me double down.
Go find me what like the call sheet market is on games played for Christian Watson.
But wait, here's my thing. Even if they have some type of positive regression with anything he does this season, you're still okay with him, like with Golden in general?
Well, here's his receiving yards.
I mean, he had a great game in the playoffs. He looked good. Yeah, he looked good great. On that play,
playoffs, but prior to the playoffs, he did not play at all. Like, he had nothing. He pretty much had one game where he scored 13.2 points in week 6 after the bye.
Did he make mistakes though? Like, did he look bad?
He wasn't in there at all. Like, they barely had him out there, and it's because he's not my assumption is that he's probably not as good of a blocker as he should be. And because they were running the damn ball, and I get it, that's what they do, and that's how they've been. But at the end of the day, he wasn't even getting the ball to begin with. And then you throw a guy in there like Christian Watson, who isn't, he's not that talented to begin with. He's a good deep ball guy, and I give him the credit where it's due there. But overall, he's not that good. Like, their receiver room isn't that good. It just isn't. And Jaden Reed is going to be involved more, now that he's, healthy, I guess. Like, they didn't really involve wide receivers at all. I don't want anything to do with an offense that isn't going to actually use their guy the way that they should. I'm just out on him. I can't be a part of something like that. And I understand his draft capital. I understand who he, where he can, all that. It was the worst team for him to go to.
Honestly, really I'm kind of at the point with them right now where it's like I'd rather just have Jordan Love and not have to deal.
I don't even want Jordan Love because of the same reasons.
But I'm saying is, but hear me out though. So what I'm saying is, like, if you have to have one of them, and I don't want to have the wide receiver discussion because I don't think any of them really help you. So it's like, if you have to have one piece of your offense, it's required. Then just give me Jordan Love, and then I'll just not have to deal with the sit start and like the irritation of the receivers every week.
They were the 4th least in passing last year.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of bailing on the Packers wide receiver. I'm kind of bailing on the Packers right now. Actually, I don't
like. It doesn't make any. It just makes no sense to me. Their run game is fantastic. They do good. Their 61% pass rate to the wide receiver makes no sense to me, out of the fact that they were the 4th least at passing the ball. But they were throwing to the tight end probably more. At their middle of the road at tight end passing numbers in general, they're in the mid. They're at the bottom. So I mean, it's one of those things where I just don't trust their passing game. Jordan Love doesn't impress me. I don't mind Tucker Kraft, but it's just because he put up some really big numbers and just seemed to be, a magnet for the ball at one point. You don't see that with any of the other guys on the
Well,
field.
To that point, though, like I love Tucker Kraft because he's the Mark Andrews there.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
is the
100%.
he's the very poor man's Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. Like he's the perfect poor man's of those two. Like
100%.
that's it. So
Yeah,
I'm always going to be in on
George
Tucker
Kittle
Kraft.
too. Like he's
I'll give him the
if
George
he's
Kittle
healthy, I
comp.
think he's going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to be pretty nice. Don't hear what I'm not saying on Matthew Golden though. There's a big difference between like I believe in the player. I think he's talented. The on the field stuff that I was mentioning was really just one of those like rookie mistakes I think really matter. And I just think I've seen enough guys that just the opportunity on good teams where like Detroit's been good and Jameson Williams still kind of like disappears and he's had disappointing seasons. Ladd McConkey just kind of had a pretty disappointing season. I think that kind of stuff can kind of just happen a little bit here and there. You got to believe in the player and things have to happen, right? I believe in Matthew Golden less than every single one of those guys combined by a lot, right? Yeah. I'll say the only reason, if you have to throw bets on a dartboard, if you're going to give me $5 auction dollars and say like, take a pretty big swing, try like, what's the best swing you can take for $5, which is I think what he went for, right? I would say, okay, year 2 guy who's going to be the wide receiver 2 on the field in 2 wide receiver sets where the most explosive playmaker on the team is coming off of an ACL tear. The running back was just in jail. And the wide receiver 1 doesn't have Vegas odds for how many games he's going to play. No, I'm just saying he does
have total yardage.
I don't want to scout
that's even worse.
That player.
I want to come back to that.
Put an X on a board and just say, would you throw $5 on that situation without even scouting the player? I'm saying I would, Christian and Moshek. I don't like Matthew Golden.
They gave him a contract extension too. Gross.
Yeah, paid everybody right outside of Kraft.
Yeah. Gross. No, I don't. I have to look that up. But yeah,
I'm looking right now. I don't see anybody else. They claimed Brandon Rice. That's about it. They paid Watson. They grabbed Jacoby Keene James, who I don't know who that is. Oh no, they waived him. Never mind.
Yeah, they're gonna have Watson and Jalen Reed for a minute. Okay. I don't know how many games they're gonna play.
We're gonna play a game. I know you guys like games. Also, we're bringing legit bullshit back to the show.
We should just do shows where it's just nothing but games. So at a minimum, we have like 50 clips we can throw on YouTube in case no one watches the show.
We'll have a game show come. I'll put that together. That'll be fun.
Well,
Damn, now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, sorry. I want to play a game. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do not Google. Please do not Google the answer.
I don't even have a keyboard in front of me. That's just
fantastic. That's the correct answer.
I'm sending out trays over here, babe. What do you think I'm doing?
All right, this is a Price is Right. Price is Right. What is the over-under for total yardage this season for Christian Watson?
The over-under?
Over
the
under
line.
Yardage.
What's the line?
What is the line?
775.
Mike?
550.
Welcome to the stage, Kendall VanDerBilt. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Yes. Let's go.
The average is between right now on the low end, but I don't think the line's going to move much. 750. The high end is 799. So,
smashed it.
Right, you were right in the middle.
Phenomenal.
Right in the middle. You hit it perfectly.
I know my boy. Dude.
Oh, I thought you were.
Welcome to the show, Mike. You're not on the show, so you lost. Sorry, you have to wait. Kendall, it's time to play bonus round on The Price is Right. What is the over/under? What is the line for Matthew Golden's upcoming 2026 season receiving yards?
525.
525, the man says. Kendall, you have $5,000 in your account. How much would you like to risk? No, I'm just kidding. Survey says 649 and a half.
Oh, okay. I was low.
Yeah, you were low, but I mean, we weren't like, way outside it. So that's not great. 694 and a half and then 775. Like, I
wonder what their total number. I wonder, I'm kind of curious what Love's number is.
I don't know. I mean, I could figure it out, but I don't want pieces of that right now. And you don't know who it's going to be. And then they're running back in jail. I'm with you, Kendall. I think if there was one guy I would take Golden. But if it's not Kraft and if I have to have Jordan Love, then it's like, I'll just deal with it. But yeah, I'm selling.
I'm out on that offense.
Yeah, I've been selling. I've got some places I'd like to continue to sell. Anyway, damn, there was someone I wanted to talk to you guys about, and then I lost my spot because we got off on this in this chat here.
As much
You'll
as
find
I
it.
don't want 2023 Jordan Love back in the NFC North, it seems destiny. The NFC North is just destined for greatness. It's a Game of Thrones arc. Every team's going to be good. Like the chance Kyler smashes, probably 100%. It's the NFC North, dude. The Kool-Aid is nice up here. All right. They're going to throw data centers in, and all of a sudden, everyone's going to get injured like San Francisco. But right now, we got 1 year, boys. We got to pull it together. All right. Only one of us in the NFC North can go on the run, boys. But you better go deep, okay? Make it count.
That's funny.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Who's the number one running back that is not a starter? A legitimate starter.
What do you mean?
Hold on. Let me finish my question. Who is the number one running back that is not a legitimate starter on his own team that you see enough upside in that you're like, yeah, I need to leave? It's a cheap guy or like a cheaper guy that you're like, yeah, I need to leave the draft with that guy.
And like if you looked up like an NFL roster, like he would be listed as the RB2, right?
Or one of these 1Bs.
He would be the consensus 1B, even if you're
Correct.
how you spicy take. The
1B.
public perception is
the public
is
perception. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, who's that?
There's
guy?
a few.
Well, let's do. That's why I said put me a list together and we'll play some games. Because I have some.
I want it to be Tracy.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Tracy.
All right. Who else? Okay, think on it. Kendall, give me one guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks.
Wow.
Yeah. That was someone I would think of.
Okay.
Blake.
Hold on. I get to play too.
Oh, okay.
I am going to say Tyler Algier. Okay.
Monungai.
Yeah, that was my next one.
Yeah.
Yep. Kendall.
Oh, it's back to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad we get to keep going. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna put a list together.
Okay. Well, by the way, can't say Travion Henderson, can I? Right? Because that would be a really fun game.
No. Well, I'll put him off to the side because maybe he'll get brought up later. We'll play King of the Hill.
Yeah, not fair. Not
play
fair.
King of the Hill.
I'm gonna go. I mean, I want to go with a guy that I really, really, really believe in. This is kind of a cop out, but it feels. I'm gonna go with a spicier pick. I'm gonna say Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, I like that one either way. I like it.
Yeah.
Tajay Spears.
It's my turn.
Oh, sorry.
But no.
Is this like by the way, is this like redraft thinking for like points scored this season? Is that the idea?
No, I mean it can be. I mean you can have it's the rankings aren't going to differ probably. Yeah, I was thinking more in dynasty since we're breaking down a dynasty draft.
Okay. If we're going dynasty value,
that's fine. We got this. This is still a good game to play. There's still guys. We'll figure it out. I would like to leave the draft in redraft with Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, he was one of my guys.
Maybe he'll lead another team in receiving yards.
I don't know if he'll do that, but I do think there is a possibility that
he can beat out Bucky.
I don't know how healthy Bucky is mentally and physically. So I think I'd put it this way. I wouldn't have brought him up if I didn't think it was at least in the range of outcomes. It may not happen, but it's.
I like him better than Bucky, just price wise and just I like.
All right, we each get one more.
I'll go Tajay Spears.
Tajay Spears. Okay. Kendall.
Okay, can I just say whoever you want to say is the RB2 in Seattle?
No.
Well, they can't both be RB1s. Like,
well, it's Eugene, it's Emmanuel Wilson or Price. So,
no, it's Price or Charbonnet for me for sure.
Well,
we're talking dynasty values, right?
Well,
don't sleep on Zach Charbonnet, the actual RB1 who will be RB2
He's on
this
pup,
season.
So
no, you need to pick one if you're going to use Seattle. You cannot say the RB2 in Seattle.
Okay, well, we're going dynasty. We're going value. So I'm just gonna say Zach Charbonnet.
Sharps.
Okay.
Okay. Beautiful. And I will wrap us up with a player that I'm curious to see where you guys are.
Wait, don't say it. Just like write it down. I know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, you do. All right, but I won't say it. That'll be the fun one.
Interesting.
We'll see if I want to talk about him, so we'll see where he lands. Okay, you ready?
I like know who you're gonna say. This is gonna be
I'm
good.
sure you do. I'm sure you do. Okay. Well, I mean, we've been doing this long enough. All right, so hold on. Give me a second to talk amongst yourselves. How was your weekend? Give me a second to
Fantastic.
find some prices, and then we can play the game.
I just keep staring at the board.
All right, here you go.
Sure.
Help me out here. Let's make this quick. Holler at me. You ready? Call the
Okay.
price for Tyrone Tracy.
Tracy was $1.
$1?
Yeah.
Fuck. Kyle Menenga we know is $7. All right, Tajay Spears, what was the price?
Spears was $1.
Okay. Travion Henderson, what was the price?
21.
Yeah, he was expensive. Yeah.
Okay, no, but he's our king of the hill right now.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks, what was the price?
8.
Okay.
I'm so mad that I didn't
Isaiah
go for him.
Pacheco, what was the price?
Was he 6 or 7?
2.
Never mind. Should have been.
Really?
Bro,
To
wow.
who? That feels gross. Why did I not get? Oh,
It was to me.
yeah.
I had
think you-
Gibbs.
Yeah, but I think you also had $2, and I only could bet $1 at that time.
Yeah, it was
extra
such
dollar.
a horrible. Yeah, that was.
Oh,
yeah.
that sucks. All right, so Isaiah Pacheco for $2. That feels.
I got all the fun guys for $2.
You did.
Yeah, you and
You did.
Joe Stafar got all my quarterbacks for $2 at the end. Anyway, Zach Charbonnet. What was the price?
Where is he? Probably went late. Where did he go?
Sharp.
Come on, he's the
$4.
longest
I got him.
name
$4.
on here.
I got him.
Oh, there we go.
$4. Tyler
Wow.
Algier. Well, hold on. He's probably on my team because I love.
He's
Tyler
on your
Algier.
team.
He is.
Yeah.
I knew he would be. I
$3.
love Tyler Algier. Yeah. Kenneth Gainwell probably also on my team. I love.
No,
Kenneth Gainwell.
$5.
Damn it! That also feels. Man.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm not saying my last name. Okay, you ready?
I already know it.
King of the Hill, Travion Henderson, Tyrone Tracy.
It's Henderson.
Henderson's just going to win.
All right.
Even for the price. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm saying I got it. Tajay Spears or Tyrone Tracy.
Tyrone Tracy.
Kendall.
Tyrone Tracy.
Okay. Tyrone Tracy or Isaiah Pacheco.
Checo.
Pacheco.
Pacheco or Spears.
Pacheco.
Checo.
Okay. Spears or Algier.
Algier.
Spears or Tracy. Excuse me. Tracy or Algier.
Algier.
Okay. Tyler Algier or Isaiah Pacheco.
Ooh.
Algier.
Algier unanimous. Okay. Algier or Zach Charbonnet.
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 Okay. Charbonnet or Kenny G. Kenneth Gainwell.
Ooh.
I need to start calling him Kenneth
Charbonnet.
Gainwell. Kenny G is not him.
I'm gonna go Gainwell.
Okay. Jonathan Brooks or Zach Charbonnet.
Oh,
Brooks brothers.
Brooks.
All right. Kenneth Gainwell or Jonathan Brooks.
Brooks.
Brooks. Okay. Brooks or Travion Henderson.
Travion.
Yeah, Travion.
Travion.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brooks is the king of the mini hill to get the battle against Travion Henderson. I feel like when he wins in Mario and Carton just spins us in a circle for a little while. Yahoo! Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks or Blake Corum.
Yeah, I knew that was your guy.
I was just because I knew it was Corum.
Yeah.
It is Jonathan Brooks for me.
I'm gonna go Brooks.
Okay. Corum or Sharps.
Corum.
Okay. Corum or Pacheco.
Corum.
It's
Corum,
gonna be
okay.
Corum for the rest.
Okay, so Corum's third. Okay. All right. So Travion Henderson, Jonathan Brooks.
And Manungai right after that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I might have
whole
actually. I would have
thing.
Manungai over Corum for me.
I would have
would too.
Manungai over Corum.
I would too.
I'd probably have Manungai over who's number 2?
Jonathan Brooks.
I would have
him
him over
Jonathan
Brooks. I would have Manungai over Brooks.
Okay, so that's where we have our
Yeah.
I would have Manungai over Brooks as well for the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what. All right, Mike. Well done, sir. That was a big oopsie on. I didn't feel good about that. I still don't. Some of the other ones I've been able to get over.
Surprised
but
you haven't tried to buy him.
I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out. Well, there's some stuff that I will come for him. There's some stuff that I need, but I gotta put it this way: when I have the money, I will come to you. I gotta make some moves elsewhere. I'm not sour, but like Javonte for 12 is a great deal. Cam Scatterby for 15 is a great deal. Like, I think you got really great value.
Hey, for this draft, I was really shocked because we did our slow draft, and I have both in that same league, and I spent 20 on both of them, and it was just on Junkins and Scatterby. I spent 20 on both, and it was just so crazy to see how high Junkins went in that. I almost didn't hit the bid button at one point.
And wait, with Judkins in this league for 31, you're talking about?
All right, no. Any given Sunday, we had the 250 budget, and I got them for $20 each.
How much would you have gone for Judkins in this one? Because I was pushing you.
35 probably would have been my number.
How high was you?
I was almost at 30. Hampton would probably have gotten to like 48, maybe 50.
That's right.
I would have. I think at that point in the draft, I only had Herbert and Monungai, so I think I probably would have pushed a little more. I don't remember if I had Collins and Olave prior to Hampton, but I just remember I wasn't really. I had a good amount of money that I was willing to push, and I remember me and you had like close at that point, so I was I was okay with spending a little more. So I probably would have pushed you to 50 and see if you were willing to go to 51 at one point. I always like to. One of my favorite things to do is go $2 more where I really want the guy, and I want to see if that person's willing to go to that number.
That's good strategy. I like that when you're like, all right, I've had enough. Yeah, good strategy.
Yeah, well, that too. Or like we're getting to a point where it's back and forth, and then it's like, okay, I'm willing to go this high. All right, screw it. I'm going to go 2 above and see if he goes even higher. If he goes higher, we'll see what happens. And, I do that a lot. I did that a lot.
Do we all have Omari and Hampton as the Dynasty RB3?
No.
I would probably have
Genty?
I have Genty over him, yeah.
All right, so do you have him as the RB4?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd have
Mike,
him around
RB4?
4. Yeah.
Okay.
4
So basically, here's where I'm at. I think Bijan and Gibbs are just in their own tier, and I don't give a fuck what order you rank them in.
Yeah.
I think Hampton is in the same tier as Genty for me. It's close, but the Raiders still have to put it together, whereas the Chargers have a lot of pieces already. Offensive line's healthy. Mike McDaniel coming in. Wow. So it's like, but it like, listen, it's a lot of good ingredients in the recipe.
Yeah.
So I have Hampton above Genty in their own tier by themselves, but I have no problem if you really want to rank it. But like, I don't want to debate Gibbs Bijan, but I think there's more optimism and upside for me anyway.
With Hampton, yeah, I get that.
Now, if the Raiders go out and just, buy the best offensive line and Mendoza is produced, then
they kind of did.
But I'm saying, like, they still have to do it. They're still rookies.
No,
this
fair
is
enough.
Genty's kind of first year. It's definitely Mendoza's first year.
My whole thing, we saw what Genty could do with a crap line, and it was nothing. He kept getting stopped at the one. They had to pass it out to him just in screens just to get him get some type of production. And he's good out of the backfield. Solid running back. I think he's the only option other than Bowers there where when it's only 2 comparatively to somebody like Hampton who has so many pieces around him. I understand that, they have Ladd, they had, QJ, they have Trey Harris in there. All are pretty, pretty good overall. And then they have Gadsden and, now with Njoku. Their line is still coming back from injury. Both, 2 guys, their left and right tackles are both coming back from ACL tear. Like they're both they have pieces that they really need to hope that they stay healthy. There's a lot of question marks for me with Hampton, and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I still like him same way you do in the context of he's a very good back, good eyes. He always falls forward. I like that. I like his eye test in general. Like he's just an explosive back. Yeah. Genty, I think, can be that too, but he is one of 2 comparatively to one of like 6 or 7. So I think that I would rank Genty just a smidge higher, and it would be the 3 compared to 4. But it's really splitting hairs at that point. That's my only like knock on Hampton is the amount of people around him that could help him too. But I think the offensive coordinator, I think the way that Jim Harbaugh runs their team and how he's going to have things go, yes, he's in a better scenario. I think Genty is going to get more volume. That's all. And he's got no one behind, he doesn't have anybody really to contest with any type of volume. I mean, Dylan Lobby's great. I have no problem with him in general. They drafted Mike Washington. So I understand, when I say that he has nothing, he just doesn't have anybody like someone like Hampton does, who Vidal had a really good season last year with Hampton going down. They just picked up Keaton Mitchell. They have pieces behind him. If Hampton falls off or has a bad, start, or, has a bad, just in general, they can just switch him out and it's fine. So that's the only other part about it that I would probably put Genty a little higher.
No, I mean, I have those 4 pretty cleanly in their own tier. I was just looking at the next tier down, and it gets
the next tier down is Achane and
dicey in there.
Yeah,
I mean, running back's hard. You know what I mean? Like, you either have something that's established that is safe, and you got to pretty much pay top of the market for it because it's hard to replicate if it goes out, or you just kind of have to live and die with them. I don't know. It seems like that tier. I don't want to say separating, but it just seems like I think there's more guys that are. This is going to sound weird. I think there's more guys that are more valuable now than there used to be that are still considered like the upper echelon. Like, I think back a couple of years ago, like, there's been certain years in fantasy where it's like, damn, there's just like positions aging out, or like the talent's just not there. There's right. It was like the tight end's the worst example to give it, because like that's just perennially how it's been. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you look at these running backs, like the dead zone, who's in the dead zone anymore? And it's like pretty clear. I don't know.
I think for me, that quote unquote dead zone is Monty. I think once Monty kind of gets up on the board and where he is pretty much, to me, the dead zone after that. Like, that's when you get to guys like, Rashad White and the Tutons of the world, or like, you're getting in, or even RJ Harvey. Like, those guys are where the tier kind of gets a little hairy. But I think that Monty is the end of that tier, and I always try to get him. He is one of my targets for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's going off of a cliff. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, some value can be extracted, then it's like, okay, I don't even know if that player's rosterable. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, there's definitely better wide receivers in there. So but like the wide receiver is like a more of a gradual downslope. I feel like, sure, there's like larger drop-offs in certain peaks.
Yeah.
But I just feel like running back just goes off of a cliff, man. So
and that's one thing that I focus on a lot in drafts when I'm starting, like when I do startups in general, dynasty or redraft. I tend to be a little bit more running back heavy than I am wide receiver centric. Even it doesn't matter what the format, or like, if it's full PPR or not. I like to focus more on the running back because of that. I know that the teardrop is so big that at this point, I'd rather have, in this case, I have 4, or 5. But, in most situations, I want to have the top, I want to have guys in, 4 guys in that before the tier drops off. Because even when the tier drops off, that 0 RB thought process, as much as it can hit, you're in a very lower, situation that's going to go. And you have to go with guys that might not get any playing time at all, or be, in the 30 range. And I'm just not willing to have those guys be my RB2. Just not.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Kendall, I got a Jacksonville take. You ready?
Let's hear it.
OUT on the entire running back room. I want nothing to do. I want nothing to do with it. Stay away. Danger.
Only value I like there is Chris Rodriguez. And it's just because of his price. And it's just because of the price, nothing else.
Everyone has their price. So I mean, sure, but like,
well, I'm saying he's going like in the 12th, 13th round. If I need a guy to fill depth in my,
I just think people are so hot and bothered by Bashal Tutin right now,
100%,
that they've just left Chris Rodriguez Jr. for dead.
Yeah,
and that's
why I want him.
Yeah, but it's like,
I mean, that's
I don't know that either one of them is.
That's the straw man take, though, right? It's for sure like
you're you're very Tootin, aren't you though?
No, not necessarily. Well, one, I did like that entire running back draft class. And in that draft class, I thought Tootin had great production metrics and amazing speed. And I just generally like running backs that I think are good running backs with speed. The fumbling issue in college scares the absolute crap out of me, right?
Yeah.
So Bashal Tootin was one of those in that draft class that I'm like, look, all people are ripping running backs. I just took him where I'm like, I didn't love Scatterboo, but I drafted a lot of him in that class because I just wanted to invest in that running back class. Because what do we know, right? I just wanted exposure. So I had a lot of Tootin and I had a lot of Scatterboo, and that's paying right now, right? Now, what actually happens with Bashal Tootin during the season? I know, Phil, that me and you were pretty in on a guy once upon a time, a guy that I scouted pretty heavily and I thought had a profile that was pretty good, could translate to the NFL. We'll see if he gets the opportunity. And he does. And we put him in our league winner show, and you have him on your team as your RB2. And I'm just saying that there were times that we were early on Chase Brown and we smashed it. I think that Bashal Tootin is simply the market is really in on him.
Yeah.
And what are we? No, you're not saying like, hey, the opportunity's not there. You're saying, dude, everyone needs to calm down. You guys are in on Bashal Tootin before training camp has even happened. That's like the hype train's off the rails. Yeah. That's where I agree. I think it's too anointed right away. But I also think that's more indicative of what was the previous conversation. It was all about the running back, the dead zone's terrible. There's like a handful of guys we like, and then it just dries up faster than in previous years we remember. The fact that we're saying, whoa, the hype on Bashal Tootin is a little bit too early. The fact that the running backs feel so ugly is directly creating hype, where maybe it otherwise wouldn't have been in previous years because we were more realistic, right?
Tootin or Jonathan Brooks?
Jonathan Brooks.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Tootin. I'm gonna go Tootin. There's something to be said about.
Well.
Yeah.
And I'm not a
Kyle Monungai or Bashal Tootin.
Monungai.
Bashal Tootin.
And Travion Henderson over both of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Really? You would have one of them. You would have.
It's so hard to tell what's going to happen with New England. I love Stevenson, so it's one of those like.
Interesting.
I liked Monungai too, but like Pacheco and Monungai are really close to me, and that Pacheco was an interesting running back that we only thought was interesting and only made articles because he got drafted by the Chiefs, right? And then opportunity, like we always say, every year something's going to happen, right? Pacheco was the thing that happened that year. On the Chiefs, right? Monungai, we're just saying he could be that guy, right? He certainly could. We've seen that happen in places before. He was still drafted behind like a million running backs in that class, right? And he performed on an extremely good offensive line. We were the number one running team in the NFL last year for a long portion of it, right? I think part of that's been. Do we think Blake Corum is amazing on every team that's not the Rams? I don't think so. Like, no, I like Blake Corum. I don't love him. I think Monungai, like, I'm the biggest guy that wants to be in on my guys, but I think certain Bears players, you got to get realistic about how the team had some bright spots last year that elevated a lot of stuff. Like, the fact that our running game was so good is how we got in the red zone so often, because honestly, Caleb feels like he had a good season last year because he had some crazy games down the stretch, but his completion percentage was fucking awful, and his total yardage was actually not that great.
He was.
You get what I mean? Like,
I was not in on Caleb last year.
Be a little bit careful, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a better player than Jackson Dart. Like, no offense, Mike. I love Jackson Dart. No, Williams is better than him, but like he's got just as many red flags. So that's my like pump the brakes on Monungai. He's another one of those like if running backs didn't suck, we wouldn't be talking as much about Monungai in Dynasty.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah, agreed. All right, I got like 10 minutes.
Oh, you got full 10? Oh my goodness.
10 minutes. That's it.
Where do you
That's
get this
got,
energy from, man?
10 minutes. That's it. Where are we at with Nick Singleton?
Out.
Deep sleeper. Out. Okay. Let's do rapid round. All right. Out. Singleton. Kendall. In or out?
He's the type of guy where no matter
in or out, that's the answer.
Out.
In or out. Jaylen Warren. In or out? Jaylen Warren.
In.
Dynasty, right? Pure dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Jaylen Warren.
Out.
I'm in.
Jaylen Warren. Dowdle.
In.
Tracy.
In.
Out.
Ooh. Bill.
Out.
Whoa. That was quick and in unison. Nice.
Sad.
Say Rashad White.
Rashad White.
In.
In.
Oh, nice. Say Rashad White. Yes. Excuse me. It's my show. Tank Bigsby.
Who?
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's an out. All right.
In.
Yeah,
No, I
I'm in on
didn't.
Tank Bigsby too.
Out.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Trey Harris.
In.
Jennings.
Jennings?
Juwan. Out.
Out.
Pat Bryant.
In.
Nice. Godwin.
Out.
Out.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. My favorite player. Xavier Worthy.
Ooh.
In.
Out.
Okay. Interesting. It's hard to do it at the other. Yeah, there's just not enough yet. Okay, cool. That was fun, guys. Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, beyond our teams and how wonderful mine is turning out to be, and the trade that I made.
Yeah, I'll
You want to talk about my trade or no?
What trade did you make? Oh, you're.
I got
yeah,
my
let's talk.
Jackson
Yeah,
Dart.
let's end the show on that. Let's end
Yeah.
the show on that. All right.
So-
where can you? I'll grab it.
What do you mean?
Well, I was going to talk about the trade.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to pull it up.
Yeah, so I was saying we pull it up and then show it.
Oh, in that case, I will bring us right to it. Give me 1 second, and I will bring it right to it.
Wait, hold on. Kendall, did you just trade Jahmyr Gibbs away?
Yeah, he traded for Tet and Marvin Harrison. That's what he was talking about before.
Oh yeah, during the show, I was like, I
yeah.
don't think Phil knows that I traded Gibbs away.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, that's fun because we had the whole conversation, and then this is what you got for him: Marv, Tet, a first, and wait for it, $1 a fab.
Yeah. That I knew that was going to be the
Because the
one thing.
27 fourth is irrelevant, and Bill's irrelevant for now. So you
For now.
got so that's what I'm saying. So that's basically what you got for Gibbs: Marv, Tet, a first. That's a good trade. That's a good trade. All right, sorry. What was your?
It's really
oh, sorry.
it's just a bet that the 27 pick, like, it's a 10-team league, and I think losing Tet and Marv is just enough points that, like, Gibbs is good, but there's a lot of good teams, and a lot of you guys can go for win now stuff, right? Unless he sacrifices future picks, which he's not usually. He wants to buy picks. Normally he doesn't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to sell out because he's too much of a value hog, right? So I think some of you guys are going to try harder to win now and just have better setups. And so if he just makes the playoffs in ones and dones, and I get, like, the 6th or the 7th pick in 2027, right, where how quarterback heavy it is already, I think if that ends up being like Ladd McConkey, like, would I trade? I think that with smash outcomes where it's more than Ladd McConkey, right? There's outcomes where it's another Tet McMillan,
All right,
or
so
Jordan Tyson.
Marv, Tet, and Ladd or Gibbs.
Looking at my particular team, I was like, Gibbs is 24.4 years old. My team's not ready to win right now. If I do some really good deals when he's 25.4, I could be in a window where that could make some sense.
Well, you did this deal to make it where you did it after this deal. So you already had some pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely doing the, how do I get production that I won't care about as much in a year or two? Well, I mean, I like it. Like, to be fair, like, I traded Trey Harris only because Mike likes him, because
in this deal,
myself,
yes.
I liked it.
So,
Naylor was hey, if someone's going to go have some good production for cheap, I'll only give it to Mike, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to save and sell him from like a second round value because he's going to be great in season. But selling Dart was like, I'm going to intentionally put myself in, kind of feel what you were dealing with, right? Quarterback troubles, where if you kind of want to have a stable platform to go for it, because, like, what if you slip into, like, shit, I'm 11-2, man, I might run this bitch, right? When those outcomes happen, you want to be like, yeah, but I'm an injury away from no QB2.
So you sold Dart and you sold Gibbs.
Yeah, I sold
Correct.
Dart, and then the plan was like, okay, either I immediately spin these picks back, right? Or so I started shopping Gibbs.
Yeah,
I
you
just
were
shopped for
shopping.
the
Yeah.
this was clearly the Gibbs is never going to increase in value. I paid for him as what he is, right? What I'm buying is an elite onesie at the most important onesie position in this league. The onesie, the tight end, the most important position in this league is RB1. RB2 is not irrelevant, but it's a flex. It's just a flex, right? The only thing you have to start is an RB1. So I want something crazy because I think the best team is going to have a very high end RB for the most part. Otherwise, the entire rest of their team is just elite from top to bottom, right? And that's it. It'll be best ball in the finals, kind of a thing, right? It's 10 team. Every team's great, right? So I was just thinking, okay, we've got some picks. Let's see what happens. In Taper, remember, randomly, I lucked into the playoffs and was like, oops, let me go buy somebody. I actually did one of the big trades in season in Taper because I randomly was the last seed in the playoffs and decided, fuck it. I'll make one purchase and see what happens. At this point, I was like, no. Let's force ourselves back a little bit. I would love to manipulate my pick to be the top half going into 27 and then just have I'm in the top half. Yeah, Mike, you might win the league. You might finish middle. I don't know where you're going to go, but I know I have a first and I got that first. So that's 2 dart throws in 27 to potentially hit on the high end. I'm looking at the Gibbs trade, and I had the ability to massage it because I gave him the option of Bill or somebody else. So if I wanted to pull it back, it was pretty easy. I was pretty in control of if I do this, we're getting it done. If I don't, actually, I'm probably just walking away from the whole deal, right? And it was just simply can I go draft in a decent draft class, which I think 27 is? I think there's 3 blue chip running backs, and I think there's at least 2 blue chip quarterbacks. So I think through the first 5 picks, and that's outside a wide receiver, dude, right?
Yeah.
So if I think there is at least 2 stupid blue chip wide receivers, and just get that down to 2 stupid blue chip running backs and 2 at QB, all I need is a top 6 pick to absolutely windmill smash, right? But I needed to sell at QB because I needed QB, if it falls to me, to be a good pick. If I'm set at QB, I'm not. That's like drafting Mendoza when you have 3 QBs already. You're like, I had to, right? I wasn't gonna, take KC too early. So that's kind of that's the only reason I did it. Is I think Joe Stafari, I don't think he has a team that can win, and I don't think it's a team that's going to finish second just yet either. So I think I'm getting a top, probably on average, pick 4 to 7 in 2027, and I think in next year's class, that plus Tet plus Marv, I think probably justifies it. 2 years down the line, if everything smashes, all the picks hit, I make the best pick. I do all the Bowers picks of 24 and that kind of a thing, right? And it all hits. There might be a day where it's like a super team where your bench is too good and you wish you could have Gibbs back. That is a really good problematic outcome. That means I'm too deep and too strong and I'm perennial second place, right? I think getting myself into that position is already generally a win. And I think it just made sense overall to push the window back to 27. So yeah, it was crazy. I was with you because when you were talking, I was like, Phil doesn't know I traded Gibbs, and you're like, is Gibbs? He's probably untradeable, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, maybe there are some outs. So here's what I'm curious is like, obviously, it's weird when you hear that if you fully disagree, and I just I go on that big rant, right? I'm fully prepared for the counter argument to be like, it's 10 team. Everybody in 10 team that's ever won a title has ever gotten second always wished they could take 15 of their players and turn them into an RB1. Everyone wants to do it at some point in time. Why am I undoing the thing that I know I'm going to want to redo or flip back in 2 years? For sure. It's mostly it's the ego play. It's Gibbs will never increase in value, but I can win a trade. And it's Joe Stafari, and I just want to draft like the next Jahmyr Gibbs in 2027, and then also get those 2 guys for free and be like, well, boys, that's also how you win leagues. Is sometimes you do the thing that sets up a league-winning thing, and I might just lose value on it. But I mean, I think I got a pretty decent shot of just that 27 alone. He might fuck around and start like just not being good. I don't know. He likes to trade a lot. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Everyone's good in 10 team, right? Phil, you could win the league. Your team is fucking stacked and young at wide receiver, but your running back room is disgusting. Saquon Barkley could be your RB1, and I think there's a really legitimate chance that it happens. If Kraft is healthy and Barkley does the things, you could just win the league. Mike, I just traded you Dart. you're pretty stacked from top to bottom. You could win. I think you guys plus Whiskey is really, really strong, and Dime has the Chiburo stack.
Broshev with the elite wide receiver group.
Yeah, Puka, JJ, London, Waddle, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and Dime's got the churro.
Yeah, everybody has
thing, right?
some
like,
type of
that's like
ceiling. It's a ceiling play in 10 team because you can hit a ceiling. 12 teams, there's more variables in 12 teams. So yeah, it's different.
The shitty thing is, it's me openly admitting, you know what? I didn't come in here and just win the draft so hard that I feel like, honestly, my values just, I set up the portfolio. It's just going to do its thing. It's young talent. It's just all going to mature. I'm going to add a first every year, and it's going to be great, right? This was actually, it was a competitive draft. There were some values. I don't think anyone could have just came in here and just fucking floored it and smashed every single thing. It's 2020 hindsight. There's little mistakes that I think everyone made, but it would have been hard.
Enough.
It would have been hard to destroy it. And I was saying, honestly, yeah, if I don't flip Gibbs for 55% value, I don't think I'm good enough to win at this table predictably. I think I'm flipping a coin to win the league, and I would rather take the big flip.
I'm in the same spot. Anyway, I'm gonna go, fellas. I think that's gonna wrap. Oh, I know we're doing a show. We're just chatting. Thanks for joining another episode of the Extra. I feel like this has been a super cool hang. It's been a good show. Sir. We'll see what of this show we end up using and what we don't. But there's some.
What if this is the most popular show we think it's just a hangout stream and it's
it probably will
recorded version?
It probably will be, dude. It'll be great.
Yeah,
man. I miss you guys. All right, let's. I'll text you guys in the chat and we'll figure some stuff out for next week.
All right, boys and girls. Have a good night.
More shows, boys. Yeah.
Peace.